For the past couple years, April was my least favorite month. Exam season is the worst. I've always hated the fact that we take 14 weeks of knowledge and condense it all down into one piece of paper that tells us whether or not we can continue with our passion. Today I wanted to share with you guys my journey with school, going from high school to entering university, quickly deciding to drop out after making a serious mistake, and then going into college, finishing college, and well, now my experience being 2 years outside of college. But before we get into university and college, let's go all the way back to the beginning, because when it comes to making the decision of what you want to do post-secondary, it all starts in high school. And in my opinion, we're too young to make this big decision at this point. Overall, when I was in school, my parents had a big drive for me to go to university. And this really caused a lot of issues when it came to picking courses in high school. Here in Canada, we have academic and applied. Essentially, academic courses get you prepared for university. Applied courses are not necessarily worse, but they just focus more on a college style learning. When you're making this decision with parents that are very strict and that want you to go to university, they consistently push you towards the academic, even if you're at an applied level. Now, mind you, at this point, I didn't realize I still hadn't made my biggest mistake, but I went with the flow. I thought I was doing exactly what I wanted to do, and at the same time trying to please my parents as much as possible, which was to go to university. So now moving from high school, let's get into my experience with university. This was a time in my life where I experienced a lot of changes and everything moved really quickly. When I made the decision to go into university, I figured that I'd make the decision to do something that I really enjoyed to do. And for me, business has always been my #1 priority. But going into university, it was a big jump. Like anyone that's experienced that big jump, you guys know, you go from high school that's very structured, very much of like a handhold throughout the years, to university where it's a free-for-all. Here's a textbook, learn it. It was a big and dramatic jump for me that I was not ready for. I definitely hit my lowest of lows being in university because I started to lose motivation, not only towards my passion of business, but overall just having this feeling that I wasn't enough. So at this point where I felt like I completely lost myself, I had to figure out what I truly wanted in my life. And I realized that one of the biggest decisions that I had to make was to drop out, which was a very scary conversation that I had to have with my parents. But overall, it went really well. And for anyone that's actually considering to make this decision and talk to their parents about it, the one piece of advice that I would say to you guys is to make sure that you can back up your decision. Understand that when you're making a decision of this level, you also want to make sure that you're being understanding to what your parents are going through in that moment as well, right? Their feeling is that you're just going to be a dropout that comes to nothing, that doesn't really have any plan. So when you make this decision, make sure that you're making this decision with a plan, some sort of vision for what you want to do in your future, because the more that you can explain this to the people around you, to the people that want to support you, the easier it is for them to digest that information and to understand what you truly want in your life. It's not going to be easy, and they're probably not going to accept it right off the bat. I don't think my parents accepted the news right off the bat. It took some time. I can honestly say that this was the best decision that I ever made in my life, and I think my parents can agree with me now that this truly was a decision that not only did I have to make it, but it was a decision that completely changed my life forever. So with that being said, let's go from university to college. I was never much of a school person, and my 3 years in Seneca, I really focused on trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life. Something that would not only help me find the best version of myself, but also help me push forward with the passions that I've always had, because I've always been so passionate about my life and about these big dreams and these big goals, but I never did anything about it. So I figured that these 3 years at Seneca, they were going to be the 3 years where I actually figured it out. I can't say I completely figured it out, but I definitely found a path. You see, in college, we got introduced to a lot of entrepreneurs and a lot of successful individuals that I probably would have never really researched unless I was at school. And when I researched these individuals, I found them to be kind of like mentors. A lot of them didn't finish university, and they made something of themselves. They found success in their own way. I thought that was so cool and so inspiring. And the more that I looked into these individuals' lives, I realized that the #1 step to being successful in life is to improve yourself, to continuously learn on your own terms. So I titled the video, I Hate School, but I Love Learning, because I can honestly say that even though school gave me a structure, gave me friends, gave me these little things that were fundamental to my growth, it didn't give me the fundamentals to succeed. And this was something that was kind of a harsh awakening once you finish college and you realize that, okay, now what? Anyone out there in university or college or making that decision to move forward into this next step into their lives, understand that you're not meant to know exactly what you're going to do for the rest of your life right now. It's going to take some time, it's going to take some experience, it's going to take some trial and error for you to get to that final result. I think if I would have gone back and done this a little bit different, focusing more on what makes me happy, I think the result may have been different. But I'm a strong believer in everything happens for a reason, so I strongly believe that we're supposed to go through this process in order to find our passion. Do I agree with the schooling system? No, but I think that it's still a process that needs to be had in order for us to figure out exactly what we truly want in our life. You know, if you're someone that's out there trying to figure out what exactly you want to do in your life, do some research. There's definitely a lot of videos online on things that you're probably interested in. Find out what you're interested in, focus on that passion, and see where it takes you. It's all about trial and error. If you have to press that reset button, press that reset button. You'll be okay. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, if you did enjoy today's video, please make sure to give it a like. And if you're not subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button, and I will see you on the next one. Peace.